If you're running a webinar right now to grow your business, you're probably doing it wrong. And if you're not running a webinar to grow your business, you're definitely doing it wrong. We've been in business about 20 years and probably seen thousands of different businesses run webinars in various ways. So we thought, you know what, let's make this video to help people out, make this a little bit easier for you so you can continue to grow your business at scale. So in this video, we're going to break down obviously why it's important to run a webinar in order to grow your business. We're also going to go over 4 ways you can leverage webinars the right way in order to grow your business, and do you one even better, show you exactly how to build it here in your Keap system. First things first, let me come here for a second. Let me talk to the people out there that don't use webinars. I want to paint this picture. So you are successfully growing your business. You're bringing in leads to your business, and the only way you can convert them at a higher clip is you think to yourself, I'm going to hire a bigger sales team. You get setters, you get closers, and next thing you know, you have a team of 15, 20 different sales reps selling your offers. That's one way to do it. I'm going to tell you a different way to do it. So imagine this world where you have this giant sales team. One of the biggest challenges is, how can I give this sales team my enthusiasm? How can I paint the future, paint the vision of what we do for our clients? There's a lot of training involved, sales scripts. It gets really messy and it gets really complicated, and your profit goes down and down and down as you do this. There is another way, like I mentioned earlier, and that's through webinars. Now, again, imagine the same scenario, tons of leads coming in. What if we funneled them all to a webinar? We told them all to come to our live training. You gave educational content and you really wowed the audience. They even more want to work with you, and you simply do 2 things. Either A, tell them, hey, buy from me today, and the sale is done. Congratulations. Now they can get to onboarding. They already feel like they have everything they need to make a decision. Or option 2, you kick them over to the sales team at this point. Now, at this point, not only are they a lead, they're a qualified lead, and they already know that they are ready to buy. They just want some extra details here and there. If you do the webinar right, you can expand and sell more than you ever had before, and it requires way less effort. So hopefully for those that don't already do webinars, I've convinced you now. It's something to look into. Okay, now that we're all on the same page here, let's go over 4 ways you can leverage webinars today in order to grow your business. And even better yet, we're going to show you exactly how you can build it in your Keap system. Let's have an expert walk you through this. Michael, over to you, buddy.
When you're thinking about producing a webinar, there's lots of things that have to happen to make sure that the audience you want shows up, and that we handle all of the registration, follow-up, etc. Sometimes it's helpful to think of webinars in 3 parts. The first part is before the webinar, during the webinar, and then finally after the webinar as well. If you're wondering what you need to do in each of those stages, we have an automation that is built right inside of Keap's Automation Builder that can help you deliver your first one-time webinar. Now, before I hop in and show you that automation, it's also good to call out that we have additional proven automations if you're somebody who's an experienced webinar host and you want to create what we call an evergreen webinar, where the content is reusable, recorded, and we still want people to register and experience that content as if it is a live webinar for the first time. But if you're just getting started, this first time webinar campaign will give you an idea of how automation can help you host your first webinar. Let's take a look. So here we have a one-time webinar automation. If it looks complicated, don't be afraid. It's just the different steps that we talked about here, which is before the webinar, and then we have reminders up to the webinar, and then after the webinar, we have some post-webinar follow-up here, and I'll walk you through this in a couple of minutes. But you just want to look at this and say to yourself, hey, if I'm running a webinar, there's some things I need to do in order to get people registered, right? So logic will tell us we need to invite people. And you can see this campaign starts here with a webinar promotion. We can apply what we call a tag to a group of contacts that you want to invite. And this campaign kicks off by sending them, and I'll double click in here, some webinar promotion emails just to give you an idea of what those emails look like. I'll click in here, and these automations are helpful because they give you some starting content here. I know a lot of you like to use AI these days, so filling in the benefits of your training should be no problem to do. You need to come up with a name and date and time. So there's some indicators in here of all of the details that you need in order to run a webinar. But what I wanted to call out specifically inside of this email is our call to action across these invite emails are obviously to get people to register. And so inside of registering, we obviously need to link to somewhere, right? And right now we have a URL that is going to a landing page inside of Keap, and I'll show you that in just a moment. But I just wanted to call out that we are driving people to fill out a Keap landing page. So let's go ahead and hop back into the automation itself. I'm going to hop back out of this promotion sequence, which is what I was double clicked into to show you those emails. And then we're driving them to that landing page from those emails, right? So I can show you quickly here by going to view and edit that we have a landing page that is pre-built in order to capture those people that are interested on whatever the topic is, right? We can swap in your logo and those types of add the benefits. We're going to use those benefits that were in those emails here as well. From a copy standpoint, you have a lot of flexibility when it comes to this landing page and designing it, but we want to capture those people that want to register as well. Now, you do need a tool to actually execute on delivering the webinar, and you'll notice we have a tip here that says if you want to use Easy Webinar, you can. A lot of you I know are familiar with hosting Zoom webinars as well. You can do that, and we actually have that built in the campaign here. So when they fill out our Keap webinar registration landing page, it does kick them into what's called a third-party webinar registration. So as soon as they fill out that form, not only are we capturing them into your CRM inside of Keap, but we are making sure that we pass that information through what's called an HTTP post over to whatever third-party webinar registration system you want to use. So whether that's Zoom, Easy Webinar, or another tool that you're using to host webinars, we're recording that as well. And then, of course, when they are tagged that they've registered appropriately for the webinar, we want to make sure we're reminding them via text messages and via email reminders. That's what these sequences are as well. So we want to make sure those reminders are going out ahead of the webinar. So we can send, you've probably got some of these on the consumer side, a text, hey, the webinar is starting in an hour, right? We can set up those SMS reminders, and there's placeholder SMS setup is inside of this sequence. And then we have the same thing on the email side here. And then after the webinar, we want to tag those that attended, and we have some follow-up here to deliver the replay and or what are the next steps after the webinar, right? We have some different options here for you to build out when it comes to the copy and content that you want to deliver. And then if they did not attend, there's an opportunity to have a conversation there as well, right? And you'll notice this, we can keep going here. We'll drive them to a sales offer. A lot of the times after a webinar, as Raylan alluded to earlier, we want to drive people to that sales section as well. So there's all different types of placeholders in here for you to build out the different conversations you want to have after somebody either attends or misses a webinar, and we can be driving towards a product. All of this is flexible. All automations inside of Keap can be bent at your will to change the structure and or paths of conversation. But the important thing here to know is that we are giving you a really strong foundation in this particular automation, which we call a one-time webinar, and it is going to take contacts through that journey of registering for a webinar, being reminded to attend, and then after the webinar having some follow-up as well and driving them to a sale. So if this type of thing is interesting to you, and it should be, this is a great example of a proven automation that can really help you facilitate running your first webinar or your 1000th, right? So the cool thing about this as I sign off here is know that you can run this multiple times, right? You run this for your first webinar, we can clone this automation, and we can run it for the next webinar, the next time you schedule it as well. So it's really handy to use beyond just one time as well. I hope you enjoyed that quick walkthrough of this webinar automation. It's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to what's possible when combining the power of Keap with our already proven automations that you have access to as a user. These aren't the only resources you have at Keap. We have a great learning center at Keap Academy, and we also have some live events upcoming. So if you're interested in building automations or learning about automation with us, check out the links below this video, and there is certainly something that we would love to have you join. All right, have a great day. Cheers.